A very warm welcome and good morning to one and all. Dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, myself, Dr. Gauri B. Naik, Assistant Professor and Co-Coordinator of the National Webinar, I welcome you all to this national webinar on Reknocking the Consumer Awareness in E-Commerce Era, organized by MSP Mandal's SSRA Law College, Bid, in collaboration with Consumer Advocacy Group. A very warm welcome to one and all. Today, we have amongst ourselves Professor Dr. Bindu S. Runal, ma'am, Vice Chancellor, Maharashtra National Law University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, as a chief guest of the function. We also have amongst us Professor Dr. Anand Deshmukh, Head, PG Department of Law, Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, as a guest of honor. We also have Dr. P.V.S. Murthy, sir, Founder, Consumer Advocacy Group, Dr. Shahista S. Inamdar, ma'am, Principal SSRA Law College and Maharashtra State Coordinator of Consumer Advocacy Group. We also have distinguished speakers for today's technical sessions. We have amongst us Dr. K. Ramamohana Roy, Dr. Zahirul Islam sir, and Dr. Dr. Jampula sir, Rajesh Jampula sir. I heartily welcome you all on behalf of SSRA Law College. Consumer awareness is a phenomenon that strikes us in everyday communications and dealings, and almost every one of us have been a victim to deficiency in services as one or other point. In present times, it becomes more relevant to be aware of consumer rights and interest when we are very casually doing most of our businesses through these e-commerce platforms. And on this note, I would like to invite the brain behind conceptualizing this webinar, Dr. Shahista S. Inamdar ma'am, who is Principal of SSRA Law College. She is one of the multitasking personalities who has recently joined our institution. She has 17 years teaching and research experience in the field of law, has attended more than 70 plus conferences, seminars, and participated into them, has around 30 prestigious publications to her credit. She is also known as one of the brand ambassadors for women empowerment and has been recognized with various awards on state and national level. She is also pursuing her research pursuit in the form of postdoc from Italy. Ma'am has also have a global presence, and we are very glad to have such a multidimensional personality joining our institute within a very short span of time. Ma'am has taken up many initiatives, and this webinar is one of them. We believe with her leadership, we'll definitely reach sky highs in recent times. Ma'am, over to you. I welcome you to deliver welcome address for today's session.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gauri Naik. Ma Saraswati la Vandan, on behalf of MSP Mandal's SSRA, Swatantrya, Senani, Ramrao, Awargaonkar Law College, Bid. I welcome all the dignitaries present in this national webinar, especially our chief guest, Vice Chancellor Bindu Ronald ma'am, guest of honor Anand Deshmukh sir, who is HOD from PG Department of Law, Dr. Bamu, distinguished speakers, Professor K. Ram Mohan Rao sir, Professor Rajesh Jampla sir, Professor Zahirul Islam sir, and the very inspiring figure for this program is Dr. P.V.S. Murthy sir, who is the founder of Consumer Advocacy Group, our inspiring personality. I welcome each one of you. Also the principals, teaching, academicians, fraternity, all participants join in this meeting, as well as who will be watching us on the YouTube channel. I welcome all for this national webinar. For this Reknocking consumer awareness in commerce, in e-commerce era. Our SSRA Law College has turned 46 years old and it's marching towards the Golden Jubilee. We are having BLLB 5-year course, LLB 3 years course, LLM, that is Master of Laws in Constitutional Law and Criminal Laws. We are having PhD Research Center, and today we are launching various certificate courses like Intellectual Property Rights Law, artificial intelligence and human rights, cyber sanskar and cyber security, legal drafting skills, and more on the ways like spoken English, forensic science and medical jurisprudence, feminist jurisprudence, etc. The people of this region, comparatively a backward area of Marathwada region, for years have felt within themselves urge to spread awareness among the masses and provide facilities for the legal education to the aspirants. With the opening of our Mandal, that is MSP Mandal's Law College at Bede in 1979, it is almost 46 years today. We are having our institution's birthday, that is 46th birthday today. Subsequently, I wanted to also highlight that our college name, that is been represented to a great freedom fighter and a parliamentarian, that is Swatantrya Senani Ramrao Awargaonkar Law College, Bede. And specifically, I would like to highlight the objectives of our college. The main objective of our law college is to carry out the responsibility of dissemination of knowledge with a missionary zeal so that students in general and the students of weaker section in particular may acquire competitive merit and excellence in legal education. And that is why we are here. I owe my high regards to the patron of this seminar, that is the webinar, that is our Bhau, that is Satish Chavan sir, and also Shri Jagtap sir, because those are the pillars of our institution. And I welcome once again to everyone for this national webinar, and I wish all the best for the program. Thank you. Over to you, Gauri ma'am. I'm not able to hear you, Gauri.
I regret the inconveniences caused by that of the network fluctuation. I welcome Ms. Jhansi Lakshmi to give a welcome address on behalf of Consumer Advocacy Group. She is one of the admins of Consumer Advocacy Group. I welcome you, ma'am, on the dais.
Thank you, Gauri ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Good morning, learned speakers, participants, and administrators of the college. I am Jhansi Lakshmi, one of the admins of CAG International. Consumer Advocacy Group is a WhatsApp group founded by Dr. PVSS Murthy sir on 24th November 2017 with a few like-minded consumer activists with the main objective of meeting consumer awareness and creating consumer awareness within the members. Several consumers from across the nation joined the group, making it a powerful movement. Today we have more than 1,700 members from 28 states, 4 union territories, and a few NRIs from 14 different countries spread in 4 different WhatsApp groups. With the support of our members, we are confident to lift the membership to the highest level and spread our wings to rural areas as well. Eminent personalities from all walks of life, including teachers, lawyers, doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, businessmen, industrialists, etc., are in our group. We have a large number of academicians, including currently serving and retired vice chancellors, presidents, and members of various consumer commissions in our groups. We had been organizing at least one webinar or online meet every month in coordination with an educational institute in each state, thus involving and engaging the young participants too. Our earnest desire is to make this group a think tank to deliberate on consumer issues and represent consumer aspirations to the respective governments. With this brief introduction about consumer advocacy group, I take my leave. Thank you for the opportunity. Over to the moderator. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Ashi Lakshmi ma'am. Now, for today's inaugural session, we have amongst ourselves a very distinguished guest of honor, Professor Dr. Anand K. Deshmukh sir. Sir is a professor and head Department of Postgraduate Studies in Law, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Sir has been working with the department since 2008 and has teaching experience of around 20 years. He has completed his LLB graduation with merits from Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, pursued his master's from Pune University and has pursued his PhD from Aurangabad University itself. He has formerly worked as a director in NSS as well as Shivaji Maharaj Study Center under Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University. He is also a member of Board of Studies for Aurangabad University as well as Pune University. Has extensively participated and conducted training sessions, conferences, and workshops and presented papers across them. Has around 17 of very fine publications to his credits in prestigious journals. He has also worked in various capacities with numerous state committees and cells, especially the Maharashtra CET Cell's Law Entrance Examination Department. Sir has been continuously striving for the excellence of PG departments since he has taken over as head of the department. We welcome you, sir, and the dais is all yours. Anand sir, you are not audible.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes.
My voice is audible?
Yes, you are very much audible.
Yeah. Very good morning, one and all. First, I like to congratulate Principal Dr. Shaista Inandar Ma'am, Principal Swatantrya Senani, Ramrao Awargaonkar Law College, BEAD, for organizing such kind of a national webinar that an important topic, that is the protection of consumer rights, especially in e-commerce. As we know, the nature of what you say that traditional is going to be changed from traditional marketing to e-commerce or online shopping is to be. And that is the reason it is a necessary one to make awareness among the consumers about their rights. No doubt, there is a special enactment in the form of Consumer Protection Act 1986, and last amendment took place in 2019. But even though there is a lack of awareness on the part of consumers, what are their rights and what kind of remedies available under these acts. No doubt there is a three-tier system which mentioned under this act in the form of district forum, state commission, and national commission is to be. Even though remedies available in the form of a digital format, but all things are there. But what is the major drawback? There is a lack of awareness on the part of consumer. So I like to congratulate Professor Dr. Murthy sir. Such persons are in our society who is going to take the initiative in the form of consumer advocacy group. And the main object of this consumer advocacy group is to make awareness among the masses, especially related to a consumer. Nowadays, the era is of e-commerce or online shopping is to be there. And that is the reason there are major chances of any offenses or fraud against the consumer. And then to make awareness aware about to those consumers, what are the remedies available under this act is there. So this is one thing. Means to make awareness and at the same time to find out what are the lacunas under the existing law or legislative mechanism. No doubt, the today's resource person throw some light on that aspect to find out for the better implementation of this act. So on this occasion, I like to congratulate this law college, which is one of the pioneer law college of our Marathwada region under the Marathwada Education Society, which is one of the largest education institute of Marathwada region, who having number of colleges, senior colleges, at the same time professional colleges. I think two law colleges under the Marathwada Shikshan Prasad Mandal Aurangabad. One is at Bid and another is at Parvani. So once again, I like to congratulate and I extend my best wishes to this Dr. Shaista Inamdar ma'am and her team for organization of such a wonderful national webinar on the protection of consumer rights, especially in e-commerce era is there. And the various dignitaries present for this national webinar, Honorable Professor Dr. Bindu Runal ma'am, who is the principal, Maharashtra National University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, P.V. Murthy sir, Dr. Jairul Islam sir, and other resource person who is going to spare their valuable time and guiding us to the participant for this e-webinar. Once again, I congratulate and extend my best wishes for this national webinar. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I believe under the leadership of yours as a head PG Department of Law, your support will always be there for organizing such opportunity, such events in future as well. Now, we have a very eminent personality amongst us as a chief guest of today's inaugural session, Professor Dr. Bindu S. Ronald ma'am. Ma'am has a tremendous around 23 years of work experience in the field of academics, and she has been recently appointed as Vice Chancellor of Maharashtra National Law University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. She has previously served as a Deputy Director of Symbiosis Law School for nearly about a decade and as a Deputy Head of Symbiosis Center for Advanced Legal Studies and Research. She also has served at NUJS Kolkata. Her areas of expertise include company law, international trade law, competition law, mergers and acquisitions, marine and shipping law, etc. She has numerous research publications, including that of Scopus and WS, and is the co-author of Manual of Maharashtra Laws, Volume 4 to 19 and Bombay Stamp Act. She has participated in various workshops, seminars, and conferences across India as well as in Cardiff, Germany, Singapore, Bulgaria, Italy, Vietnam, etc. She also has presented papers at various national and international conferences. She is also a research guide for PhD and supervised many scholars under her wings. She received the prestigious Erasmus Mundus grant, through which she has taught 2 courses at the Department of German, European, and International and Commercial Law at Leibniz University, Hanover, Germany. She has also participated in 2 European Union sponsored projects. Dr. Ronald's additional research experience includes involvement in UNDP project on Plantation Labor Act and land legislation affecting tea gardens in India for the Tea Boards of India, and on the takeover code for ITC Limited. Currently, she is also serving as a module leader for a prestigious Jean Monnet module on legal aspects of doing business in European Union, a grant by European Commission. Ma'am, we heartily welcome you to this occasion, and the dais is all yours.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are very much audible.
Thank you. And a very good morning to all present for this national webinar, which is on the topic of reknocking the consumer awareness in e-commerce era. Thank you for inviting me as the chief guest of this national webinar. Professor Dr. Anand Deshmukh, who's the guest of honor, Department of Law at BAMU. Professor Murthy, and then we have the patrons of this national webinar, Shri Satish Chavan and Shri Jagtap, the convener of this webinar, Dr. Inamdar, and the resource persons and participants of this webinar. On the onset, I must appreciate the efforts which have been put by all the members of the organizing team of the Marathwada Shikshan Prasarak Mandal's SSRA Law College on a subject which is extremely important, especially when we see that we are today in a very fast evolving landscape of digital markets. When we look around, we see that there is a proliferation on e-commerce platforms, and today the consumers are spoiled for choices. We are happy at the advancement of technology and the exponential growth of e-commerce and the conveniences that it provides to us. E-commerce definitely has revolutionized the way we purchase or sell things. It has broken the geographical barriers and it offers convenience at our fingertips. However, I must also say that while e-commerce has broken geographical barriers and offers convenience, etc., the paradox is that while as consumers we have greater convenience and access, it has also brought new challenges. We see aggressive marketing today, endorsements that are there which are made by strong influencers. And with all this also comes the fact that there's a lot of misinformation and misleading statements that are provided, while the bulk of the consumers, they remain unaware of their rights, where they're not sure about the product authenticity that is there, on the issues of very important aspects such as data privacy, refund policies, etc. A consumer, most of the times, is not even aware of the grievance redressals that are there, which are available to them. And today we hear increasing incidents of cyber frauds and other unethical business practices that businesses engage with, the sole purpose of increasing businesses and profits for themselves. In a scenario like this, it is important to ensure that there is consumer awareness, leading to maintenance of ethical standards, and awareness leading to informed decision making as far as the consumers are concerned. It is important to ensure that consumers are empowered, and a greater trust will lead to a better market with accountable digital economy, as we see. Today, we have moved from physical marketplaces to virtual markets. These virtual markets which are on the screens of our smartphones and the other, on computers, etc. And e-commerce provides the kind of convenience which was never seen before. And with increasing incidents that we see of cyber frauds, privacy violations, with manipulative marketing tactics that are there, which are being adopted with least importance being given to ethics and values, there's a great need to educate the consumers. Most of us consider ourselves to be tech savvy, but we are absolutely unaware of the algorithms that are there which manipulate our choices, targeted advertisements that are there, the patterns that are there that influence the consumers' purchasing behavior that we see. We are in an era where we are actually spoiled with choices, but at the same time, we are confused to see through the marketing strategies that are there, which are adopted by the businesses today. In spite of legal protections that are there, which are available, and law evolving, and with mandatory disclosures that are there, which are supposed to be provided by the sellers, there are gaps, and consumers also don't behave responsibly if you look at it. There is a need to create awareness amongst the consumers and a greater thrust on vigilance through awareness campaigns, digital literacy sessions that are there, awareness initiatives, providing accessible grievance redressals. And in all, this is, there's an active role that has to be played by many. Active role that has to be played by the government, educational institutions, by the consumers themselves, by speaking up and sharing information that is there, which is with them. Creating consumer awareness is a shared task. It's not a task of one particular individual or just the government. And the Consumer Protection Act today cannot be limited to knowing the Consumer Protection Act provisions that are there. It is more than that. It is about understanding the privacy policies that are there. It is about evaluating the credibility of those who are selling the products as far as the digital markets are concerned. It is about identifying fake reviews that we see, recognizing patterns that are there, and it's about ensuring financial caution that all of us have to take care of. And it is also about the power to question. We have a lot of global best practices that are there. We have EU's GDPR law, which ensures data protection of consumers. As a result of that, we're also looking at the data protection laws over here. We have the US Federal State Commission, which comes down heavily on misleading advertisements. Or we have other countries such as China, which comes down heavily on fake listings. As educational institutions and as law colleges, we have a huge responsibility. We are here not just to produce law graduates, I think, but we are here to bring out our, through our institutions, graduates who are well-informed to ensure that we promote, we go on the right way. As law institutions, we should also be looking at promoting action research that is there to strengthen consumer awareness, consumer jurisprudence. And I'm very sure that this webinar and the discussions that are there, which is going to follow on the various, which is going to be led by the eminent resource persons that we have today, will help in creating a renewed consumer awareness, and it will show the path to move from a passive consumption to a dynamic participation, creating a healthy digital economy. We must use the power to click consciously, because I think, when we talk about the digital era, we can do a lot of things by the click of a mouse. But as I said, we must use the power of click very consciously. And we as educational institutions must ensure that we provide platforms to ensure the coexistence that is there between technology and awareness, and to empower the consumers that are there around, including ourselves. I wish this national seminar all the success. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, madam, for enlightening words and as well as throwing light on the relativeness of this topic of reknocking the consumer awareness in e-commerce era. We have been lucky to have organized this webinar timely in tune with the recent trends and practices. With this, I believe this inaugural session of the national webinar on reknocking the consumer awareness in e-commerce era has been successfully taken place. I would request all the panelists to switch on their video cameras so that we can have a group photograph. Are we done, ma'am? Thank you so much. On behalf of SSRA Law College and on behalf of Consumer Advocacy Group, I, Dr. Gauri B. Naik, take this opportunity and gladly thank you all for joining this inaugural session. I personally thank on behalf of SSRA Law College and on behalf of our principal ma'am to Dr. Anand Deshmukh sir, Professor Dr. Bindu Runal ma'am, our distinguished speakers for the session, Murthy sir, Ms. Jhansi Lakshmi ma'am, all the dear participants, members of academia and fraternity, legal practitioners, and all others who have joined this webinar from different cities and jurisdictions. We hope that you will have enthralling sessions in the upcoming day forward with this webinar. I request all the participants to stay tuned. We will be shortly starting with the first technical session, which will be delivered by Professor Dr. K. Ramamohana Roy. And I once again thank all of you for joining this inaugural session of the national webinar. Thank you one and all. I'll take your leave as moderator of the inaugural session. We'll be starting with the first technical session shortly in a couple of minutes. Rao sir, am I audible to you?
Yeah.
Shall we start?
Yeah, we can go ahead.
So the first technical session of this national webinar is been addressed by Professor Dr. K. Ramamohana Roy. Sir has been Yes, I would like to introduce Sir shortly. Dr. Rao sir has pursued his graduation from SKBR College, Amalapuram, and has joined Andhra University for his master's. He started his professional career in 1982 as a lecturer in PG Department of Commerce in VRS and YRN College, Shirala. He was awarded PhD degree by Andhra University in 1987 for his work on development of handloom in Andhra Pradesh. Sir joined Andhra University as reader in commerce in 1989 and continued his services in the university until he attained superannuity in 2020. He became a professor in 1998 and the first senior professor in the Department of Commerce and Management Studies, Andhra University in 2018. Professor Rao sir is an inspiring teacher and has received highest appreciation from students and faculty for his teaching, speeches, and messages in various platforms. He is specialized in marketing, management, and services marketing. He is a passionate researcher and a guide to around 25 PhD students currently and 9 MPhil students. He has wrote around 11 books and has published more than 90 research papers in reputed international and national journals, has undertaken around 13 research projects funded by UGC and other public and private organizations. Sir also has served many administrative positions as a principal, Andhra University College of Arts and Commerce, and registrar of Andhra University, as a coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell. He designed and implemented quality management systems in Andhra University. He is in the academic bodies of many universities and research institutions. He's also served as a member of Academic Council of IGNU. He is member of Academic Senate of Acharya Nagarjuna University. He served as an expert member in many committees consulted by UGC, AICTE, etc. He is one of the NAC assessors as well and served in the capacity of chairman member and coordinator in the peer teams constituted by NAC and visited more than 40 higher educational institutes in India. Sir has organized many national seminars, workshops, training programs in the areas of commerce management and quality assessment. Sir is presently serving as a Vice Chairman, Andhra Pradesh State Council of Higher Education, Government of Andhra Pradesh, and State Nodal Officer of RUSA, Andhra Pradesh. He is the Director of State Level Quality Assurance Cell established in APSCHE. Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time and giving us opportunity to hear you. The session is all yours.
So very good morning to all of you. It is my privilege to take part in this very wonderful webinar on reknocking the consumer awareness in e-commerce era. First of all, I would like to congratulate the SSRA Law College, the principal and her team for conceiving the idea of conducting this particular webinar, and say associating with the consumer advocacy group. I am associated right from the beginning of the consumer advocacy group because of my association with PVV Satyanarayana Murthy, say who I had an opportunity to guide his thesis also. So he did his PhD work on consumer protection in India. So that made us to move together all the years. And when he requested, I said, okay, though I'm not a law graduate now, but I can make my presentation on the consumer awareness in the digital era. So thank you, Madam Bindu Ronald, for your very nice message. Yeah, the topic is really interesting. It is not just re-knocking, we have to knock also. In a country like India, the awareness on consumer rights or the products or the marketing information is very, very limited. And the large majority of the population are not exposed to this kind of information. They have conventional perceptions in assessing products and services, and mostly their gut feel drives them to make purchase decisions. So we need to have a campaign to reach the unreached, and also those who had some information, they must be apprised once again and again, so that we can make them abreast with the recent developments. So we are living in a dynamic world, and as Madam rightly pointed out, that we are in the digital era, and which is impacting the entire social life of the people. And the markets now shifting from the physical environment to the digital environments. And the growth rate of digital market is very high compared to the expansion of the physical market systems. So with this trend going on, in future, we will see higher rate of say expenditure or demand in the digital market space. Because of various advantages, people are able to make it out, and the kind of reach, digital reach, that is there in the entire world and particularly India. So definitely we have to shift our focus and try to protect the interests of the consumers in the digital market. So let us look at the small presentation I have made. So taking the cyber related issues the consumers are facing, the Consumer Protection Act is redrafted, and in 2019, a new act has come to replace the earlier act. In that act, Section 2(7), the definition of the consumer has changed, wherein now the consumer definition includes anyone who buys goods or services through offline and online transactions. So online consumers fully protected now under Consumer Protection Act. Fully, we have to underline, it is as per the definition fully, but whether it is fully or not, we have to examine later. The same act defined unfair trade practices also. In the first place, we see misleading advertisements, false claims about quality or pricing, non-issuance of cash memos, failure to provide promised after-sale services, and hoarding or destruction of goods. These are termed as unfair trade practices. The Section 101 of the CP Act on e-commerce entities, they have described certain rules for e-commerce entities, which all of us should understand very clearly. The display of complete product details, price breakdowns, return and refund policy. So every e-commerce seller has to display this information. Second is transparent ranking parameters of search results. This is again an issue of definition, but the sellers have to ensure that their performance is transparent. Maintain a grievance redressal officer with name and contact details. Acknowledge consumer complaints within 48 hours and resolve them within a month. These are the provisions under CP Act. Again, some prohibitions also mentioned in the Act, which says no cancellation charges on the consumer unless also levied on the seller. No manipulation of prices to gain unreasonable profit. No unfair influence over consumer reviews or ratings. So these are the provisions we have against the cyber manipulations, whatever we call it, protection offered under Consumer Protection Act. So now e-filing of the complaints is also provided through e-Dakhil portal or a mobile app without appearing in the court. That is one facility provided for it. And this act is addressed by district, state, and national commissions. The values I need not explain you. Each has a different level of value-based distinction in handling the cases. The unfair trade practice is in e-commerce. Mostly what we could see is false advertising, claiming unrealistic discounts, fake product features are prominently displayed in the e-commerce portals. Fake reviews is another complaint that is being received. Price manipulation, artificially inflated prices before sales. Non-disclosure of certain costs like hiding total cost, taxes, delivery charges until checkout. Denial of refund or return, refusing to honor clearly stated return policies. Sale of counterfeit goods. This is also a very serious issue many consumers are facing. And dark patterns, tricking consumers into subscriptions or purchases through design manipulations. So these are the identified unfair trade practices in e-commerce. If we look at this, Advertising Standards Council of India, they have given this notification where the misleading claims make up 81% of ad violations. As much as 81% of advertisements were on account of misleading claims. As per the ASCI, they have examined 10,093 complaints and investigated 8,299 advertisements. And out of that, they found 34% of ads promoted harmful situations or products. Digital ads, accounting for 85% of the ads processed, had a lower compliance rate of 75%. A very serious problem which need to be addressed. 97% of both TV and print ads have higher compliance rate. 78% of ad violations were reported from healthcare, illegal offshore betting, personal care, conventional education, and F&B and realty. So these are the findings of Advertising Standards Council of India, which clearly demonstrates that the way in which the consumers are being exploited or misled through e-platforms. We can see the case of Patanjali Ayurved Limited. In 24, Supreme Court of India addressed the issue of misleading advertisements by Patanjali Ayurved. The court emphasized that endorsement by public figures and celebrities must be responsible and truthful, and it directed that before any advertisement is aired and published, a self-declaration must be submitted by the advertiser, ensuring compliance with advertising standards. This ruling reinforced the protection of consumers from deceptive marketing practices. Another case is related to Vodafone Idea Cellular versus Ajay Kumar Agarwal in 2022. Supreme Court ruled in this case that the existence of an arbitration clause under the Indian Telegraph Act 1985 does not oust the jurisdiction of consumer forums. This is a very important clarification given by the apex court. the court held that the Consumer Protection Act is a specific act and not a general act. Therefore, aiming that consumers can approach consumer forums, affirming that consumers can approach consumer forums even if an arbitration clause exists in the contract. So that widens the application of the Consumer Protection Act beyond the other acts that are clauses in the other acts to protect the consumers. Another case I would like to present before you, the Supreme Court in the case of HDFC Bank versus Jana Jose in 21 held that banks are liable for unauthorized withdrawals unless they can prove that the customer acted fraudulently or negligently. This judgment emphasized the duty of care that banks owe to their customers and reinforced the protective umbrella offered to consumers under Consumer Protection Act. Another case which is also considered very important, the Rio Grace Realtech Private Limited versus Abhishek Khanna. The Supreme Court ruled that one-sided and unreasonable clauses in an apartment buyer's agreement constitute an unfair trade practice. So this is also a serious problem many people are facing while purchasing apartments from realtors. Under Section 21R of the Consumer Protection Act, the court held that developers cannot compel apartment buyers to be bound by such clauses, thereby protecting consumers from exploiting contractual terms. Imami Limited also had some problem with misleading advertising. The District Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission in Delhi directed Imami Limited, the manufacturer of Fair and Handsome cream, to discontinue misleading advertisements and pay rupees 15.6 lakh in punitive damages and costs for unfair trade practices. The complainant alleged that the product's claim lacked evidence and the advertisements were deceptive. So when somebody raised the alarm, these kind of judgments are possible for all of us. So when we look at the international players, that is one major problem in the e-market platforms and coming, many international players are offering products and services. So we don't have a serious system, a dependable system to protect our interests against the international players, and the cyber crimes are growing day by day in the digital economy. Consumers often face threats like data breaches, as Madam rightly pointed out, identity theft, the privacy of the information, phishing, online frauds, and fake e-commerce platforms that operate across borders. So how we can protect ourselves, protect the consumers from the frauds that are being committed by the international players in cyber arena. So one suggestion is that we have to strengthen legal and regulatory frameworks. We should have robust cyber laws. We have, of course, Information Technology Act 2000. But it needs continual updates to address emerging threats like AI-based scams, ransomware, deepfake frauds. So these people are changing and updating and inventing new ways of cheating people. Unless you make our legal system very dynamic and addressing all those new ways of cheating people to protect, so we cannot protect our consumers. That is the one thing that need to be done. So it should be dynamically modified. So the act is in 2000, now it is 2025. Minor changes amendments were taken place, but major need to be done. The proposed Digital India Act is expected to fill several gaps, including regulating cross-border data flows and digital criminal liability, which is something we are expecting. That let us see what happens. The Consumer Protection Act also needs some kind of amendments wherein the digital platforms need to be finalized, which are enabling the international scams. Right now, that facility is not there. Mandate redressal responsibilities for cross-border sellers. That also has to be made as a condition where the redressal is possible. That information has to be specified by a cross-border seller. Bilateral and mutual treaties also need to be entered by the government. India should actively negotiate mutual legal assistance treaties and data sharing agreements to trace and prosecute foreign fraudsters. Collaborate with international groups like Interpol Cybercrime Directorate, G20 Digital Economy Working Group, or UNODC. Such groups have some information which we need to collaborate and get some information on that. The second area is that empowering consumers through awareness, which is the key topic for us. So the National Cybercrime Awareness Campaigns, which is initiated by the Government of India, like Cyber Swachhata Kendra, Stay Safe Online, that should be multilingual, use social media, schools and community programs, include real life examples of cross-border fraud. So that is, again, is a necessity. Recognizing common tactics. Teach consumers to recognize fake shopping websites offering global brands at deep discounts, international phishing emails requesting payment, too good to be true, crypto or forex investment schemes. On these areas, the tech consumers consumers need to be taught what kind of fraudulent practices are followed by the people. Another area is developing digital infrastructure and technology tools so that the people will have some kind of protection, like use of UPI, RBI regulated payment gateways, Indian escrow services when dealing with international sellers, mandatory cyber hygiene for platforms, conduct regular audits, remove blacklisted sellers, offer Indian consumers localized grievance support. And then AI and big data for fraud detection. Now, every one of us know that how AI is impacting everybody. Now, AI can be used positively by financial institutions and government agencies to detect fraud patterns, especially in cross-border transactions. Legal remedies and reporting mechanisms also need to be introduced. In filing complaints, report international cyber fraud to cybercrime.gov.in. This is India's national cybercrime reporting portal. Set-in for breaches, cyber security law, RBI ombudsman for payment frauds. This is one opportunity that is available for filing complaints relating to e-commerce. Then international arbitration has to be introduced for consumers harmed by platforms based abroad. Arbitration clauses can be a useful path for restitution. Role of Central Consumer Protection Authority. It can initiate class action suits or issue directives against international platforms misusing Indian consumer data or defrauding users. So the stakeholders should assume the roles and responsibilities. Government has to enact laws, enforce it, and enter into treaties. Tech companies should help in having secure platforms and user education. Financial institutions should help us in monitoring suspicious transactions. Consumer organizations should help the consumers and by educating, advocating, supporting legal recourse. Media is also an important role to play. They have to report scams and inform public. And consumers, they should stay alert, report fraud, and use secure practices. Of course, Government of India has taken a few steps in campaigning and helping the people. Jago Grahak Jago campaign is one of the most visible public awareness campaigns. Then you have NCH, National Consumer Helpline. It is a toll-free number and online portal. Integrated grievance redressal mechanism, centralized complaint registration is possible. Consumer Awareness Week that is being held every year to promote consumer education. And AI tools and chatbots for quick grievance redressal in some sectors. Then some tips for digital consumers: always verify website authenticity before transacting. Read product reviews and seller ratings. Understand return, refund, and cancellation policies. Use secure payments methods like UPI and trusted wallets. Keep personal data private. Avoid oversharing online. Report frauds to NCH or cybercrime portals. Now, what we need to do to promote consumer awareness and consumer education much effectively than what is happening now. For quite some time, the consumer associations have been trying hard. Government is working on that, state as well as center. But still, in a country like India, having 146 crore population, and literacy is good, but knowledge levels on the products and services is not so good. Then how to make the people realize that they are being exploited? They need to protect themselves, and they can protect themselves. So the legal system that we are providing, or the administrative mechanism that is being provided, cannot fully justify the protection to the consumers, to all the consumers. They can reach only a limited number of consumers. So only remedy throughout the world is to make the consumer stronger, consumer active, consumer, say, with protective arm. Then only consumer protection is possible on a greater scale. So one thing which I believe personally is that consumer education should be a mandatory course right from 10th class level. Now that the generational change we could see, the schooling students are having greater knowledge with the exposure to the say what you call smartphones and all that. If they are given right inputs on consumer education, they can guide the parents, they can guide the others also in assessing the consumer, say, products and services, the quality and judgments on that. That is one suggestion I have. The CBSE, ICSE, and the states, the Central Ministry of Education, like what they have mandated, say, course on environmental education. The consumer education also should be a mandatory course for all disciplines, right from 10th class. Every consumer organization be directed to organize a minimum of 2 consumer awareness programs in a year. So we have large number of consumer associations registered, and Ministry of Civil Supplies are connected with them. They are monitoring the activities of them. So now a mandate by the central as well as state governments to direct the consumer organizations or associations to take up a minimum of 2 consumer awareness. That is the mandate. Otherwise, their license or recognition can be cancelled. Then the TV channels and social media platforms, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, they can be directed to allocate a minimum of 60 minutes in a week, mandatorily on consumer education. Let them have number of programs, but the time that they have to allocate should be mandated. Then introducing annual national awards for best initiatives in consumer protection. This will encourage and promote a competitive nature among the performers to do more. It motivates the consumer organizations, institutions, individuals also. Union as well as state governments should allocate budget for funding consumer associations and academic institutions to take up consumer awareness campaigns. And then consumer education fund may be created with contributions from industry, maybe through CSR funds, business, and philanthropists. I believe that these are the few measures that support the campaign for consumer protection further in the country. So thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I once again appreciate the college, Law College, hosting this webinar, and the consumer advocacy group, particularly Murthy Garu, and all resource persons we have. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for this enthralling session. Particularly, your PPT is depicting the practical examples and utility-full suggestions that you have given. I believe the suggestions that have been listed on the slides are typically there for all the higher educational institutes to incorporate into their curriculums, particularly us, the law schools. Since we are the learners of consumer laws per se, we do teach consumer laws to our students. So they need to be made aware in this regard, or this consumer awareness education should also be one of the part of our curriculums. And definitely we look forward to incorporate such things in our curriculums. Thank you very much, sir. I would like the participants to ask any questions if they have. Please drop your questions in chat box. Sir, if you don't mind having some questions.
Yeah, no problem.
If there are any questions, I request the participants to drop the questions into the chat box.
Moderator, madam,
Yes, sir.
may I suggest you to take this question and answer to the end,
Right, sir.
so
We
that the
can have
rest of the
that
speakers
combined
can.
session. Yes. Thank you very much.
That's always better.
Right, sir. Now,
Thank you.
we are starting shortly with the second technical session of the webinar, and I would like to hand over the second session to one of my colleagues, Ms. Ravina Ravisavai, Faculty, SSRA Law College. Ma'am, over to you.
A very warm welcome and good afternoon to all dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. I, Professor Ravina Ravi Savai, Swatantrya Senani, Ramrao, Awargaonkar Law College, BID, welcome you all to technical session second, the inauguration of the national webinar on renewing consumer awareness e-commerce era organized by the MSP Mandal and SSRA Law College, BID, and in collaboration with Consumer Advocacy Group. It is my great pleasure to introduce today's guest, Rajesh Jampala sir, then PB Siddharth College, Vijayawada, our on esteemed speaker on the behalf of SSRA Law College, BID. I only welcome to sir. 29 years of experience in a teaching postgraduate student of commerce and business administration, presently in academic and administration, PB Siddharth College, Vijayawada, professor and head department of commerce and business administration, PB Siddharth College of Art and Science. The following professional honor awards and fellowships are conferred on Sir. CM level 5 certificates from Management of Institute UK in Management and Leadership upon successful completion of the course were guided by faculty from Delhi College UK, Paul Harris Fellow, team leaders, group study, exchange team to Mexico, Fellow Computer Society of India, international leadership and training roles. Sir, currently guiding many scholars for MPhil and PhD. Thank you for sparing time from your busy schedule. This session is all yours, sir.
Thank you, madam, for your introduction. I'm extremely delighted to participate in this particular national webinar on reknocking the consumer awareness in e-commerce era. First of all, I profusely thank Dr. P.V.S. Murthy, the founder of Consumer Advocacy Group and a member AP State Council, Consumer Protection Council, for facilitating this type of platform for sharing and learning from many participants. I also thank the organizers for inviting me to be the panel speaker, especially Dr. Shaista Inamdar, the principal of SSRA Law College, BID.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam. I profusely delighted to share the same webinar with the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Bindu S. Ronald, of MNLU University of Awarness. I think this particular topic is of great importance, as it was already mentioned by my predecessor and my teacher, Professor K. Ramrao, Vice Chairman of Andhra Pradesh State Council for Higher Education, for his wonderful disposition on the importance of consumer awareness, especially in the e-commerce era. Taking the clue from his particular session, I would like to present my short insights on this particular topic. I've chosen a topic called conscious buying in the era of e-commerce, because consumers today are bombarded with a lot of messages, and they're getting a lot of communication from the companies, tempting them, incentivizing them, at the same time creating some sense of inferiority complex among themselves. Unless they buy more and more materialistic things, they're not well accepted in the society. In that kind of situation, what is the role of the consumer in terms of having awareness, self-awareness, at the same time At the same time, should also have the consciousness of what they're buying. Most of the times, consumers are affordable. I mean, they can afford the price, but they should also ask themselves a question whether the society can afford these products and services, as the planet is heavily loaded with a lot of pressure in terms of materialistic production and distribution of goods and services. So in this context, let us spend some time on understanding the importance of conscious buying in the era of e-commerce. So as the topic is talking about, actually, ma'am, whether my presentation is readable to the audience? Are you able to see my presentation, sir?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Actually, this topic is about e-commerce. The significance of e-commerce, let us spend some time. You see, in 1979, Mr. Michael Aldrich, he used the computer as well as the television by using mobile and some phone connection to buy some things. That was the starting point of e-commerce in a way. But the boost came in 1994, the rise of mobile e-commerce, when the mobile phones were percolated to the downstream. Most of the mobile commerce has started. But in 1995, Amazon, Jeff Bezos started as an online bookstore. Now you can see the power of Amazon. It's one of the leading retailer in the world. At the same time, he's also into many diversified portfolio businesses. The launch of Amazon in 1995 has really transformed the digital commerce. In 2005, what happened? The social media exploded like anything, like Facebook's, Instagrams, Pinterest, such kind of social commerce platforms. They also incorporated some amount of facility for sharing the advertisements at the same time selling the products to these platforms. That has really boosted the e-commerce in a big way. In 2014, you see the launch of eBay. eBay is a kind of an auction site where buyers and sellers can bid for the products and they can sell and they can buy the products. So that launch of eBay has really boosted. But the real breakthrough came in 2020 in a COVID. COVID, I should say, is a blessing in disguise to many other businesses, like especially digital commerce, quick commerce, mobile commerce. So in that context, e-commerce surge due to the pandemic has really created the necessary impetus. So, but what are the benefits of e-commerce generally? Why people are flocking towards e-commerce sites? The reason for that, everybody is known. It is very convenient. You can sit in your office or at the home and you can buy things at your own convenience. Today, you see within 10 minutes, the Blinkit kind of networks, they're able to supply the goods. Within 10, 12 minutes, they're able to deliver the goods at your doorstep. That is really so convenient for the customer, they feel. That's why they are interested in e-commerce. It is also some kind of cost saving. That means the customer need not go to the shop and search for the products. It's almost like serving at the doorstep. In a way, it is having global reach. So if you start a website and you start selling some products or informing about the product availability, your customer may come and ask for the product from different countries also. So a local seller may become a global seller all of a sudden. So that is a reach the e-commerce platforms are providing. And e-commerce is also helping to customize the things in terms of products and services. At the same time, personalization of the profiles of the different customers so that each customer is having a profile so that the curated advertisements will be sent, curated products will be sent to them. So in that kind of personalization is possible in e-commerce. And an additional customer service facility. For example, if you buy a shoe rack, along with the shoe rack, after delivery, a local maybe technician will come and fit the shoe rack or your AC, they will fit. So in that kind of enhanced customer service is also they are adding as a value-added service. So that really has boosted the e-commerce surge. But there is a lot of competition among e-commerce sites. There is a advantage for the customer also. When there is more competition, natural benefit should come to the customer. In terms of reduced pricing, maybe enhanced service, in that sense, it is a real boost. A lot of data is generated, and this data could be analyzed further, and trends can be understood in advance so that very customized things could be sold in that sense. So these are some of the benefits. That's why we are moving towards e-commerce in a big way. If you see in terms of the revenues of e-commerce, by 2025, people are expecting it will touch $7.385 trillion. So that is a huge economy. I mean, in terms of reach. And at the same time, e-commerce is going up. At the same time, physical presence is coming down to some extent in retail. So these are some of the statistics. But our topic, as I chosen, is conscious consumption. Conscious consumption from the customer point of view. There is a rise of conscious consumers at the moment because some of the customers, or many of the customers, are moving towards eco-consciousness. They are aware of what they're buying. Even the price is a little bit high, they're going towards organic products. They are talking about recyclable material, etc. So some customers are even using recycled items, refurbished items, and they're also talking about reconfigure, rethink, reapply, refuse sometimes, reduce their consumption. Such kind of trends are coming in a big way. So in this context, let us move towards understanding the importance of conscious buying in e-commerce. So what is conscious buying in e-commerce? Conscious buying in e-commerce in a way, it is nothing but the customers are making decisions based on the values like sustainability and ethical practices. Whether this product or this environment can be sustainable, whether the society can afford, whether nature can tolerate, whether is it ethical practice the company is following. So today, most of the business decisions are vetted through ESG prism. What is ESG? Environmental, social, and governance prism. So in that context, slowly, the green, eco-conscious consumers who are not that price sensitive are moving towards eco-friendly and ethical buying practices. So if this trend has to be understood by the retailers in a big way. So based on the values of the customers, the companies have to change their business strategies because they have to match the customer expectations. So if you go to the details of the elements of conscious buying, let us see what are the insights we should understand. Prioritizing sustainability. Sustainability means what? Sometimes you may be having money as a customer, you can afford, but sometimes when you are disposing the product, whether the nature can afford that product or not, whether the earth can sustain this load. So that kind of consciousness must be understood, and the company should produce a durable, long-lasting items so that the products need not be purchased once again. And most of the products today, their use and throw concepts are coming in a big way. In our childhood, we used to have a refill for a pen, but today most of the youngsters are not buying any refills. They are buying a pen, they're using it, they're throwing it away. So even the car, for example, if you take for the service station, they are replacing the existing malfunction spare parts with a new one. They're not repairing. So repairing has to be come back. Mechanics have to be supported in the sense like you should reuse the product, reapply the product, and you should repair the product so that the same product will have a life. Before you dispose, consider whether there is a life in the product or not. And recycling is becoming a big thing today. Whether the packing material or not, and everything is recyclable or not, you should understand. This is the main aspect of conscious buying. And the second important consideration is ethics. Whether the company is transparent, whether they are following social responsibility in their practices, the customers are observing. When the customers are observing whether you are ethical or not, naturally, the companies also has to be more self-controlled. And customers are purpose-driven. The purpose-driven in terms of matching with their value system, matching with whether they are creating any positive impact to the buying. So when the customer is thinking so proactively, the companies also should become proactive. And customers are also becoming conscious of mindful consumption. So whether these are really required or not. So you should be just take a pause before buying some items and then take a decision to purchase or not. So according to the McKinsey survey, there are some statistics available. Most of the consumers are increasingly demanding sustainable options and they're willing to pay some premium for that. That means they have shifted their purchasing behavior towards being more sustainable items, almost 85% in some of the countries at least. And 45% are expecting sustainability as a basic prerequisite for every brand of their product. And 65% are not fully convinced by the quality of the selection of sustainable products by the companies. And this is some survey. So that means what? The survey findings will help the companies to streamline their operations, change their marketing practices, sourcing their products, raw materials ethically, and creating some consumer awareness from that front, and helping the consumers to be more profitable in terms of consumption as well as disposing the product. So what is the benefit? What are the benefits of conscious buying? So suppose if you are a conscious buyer, it will take care about your personal well-being. At least you are mentally, psychologically satisfied. And the companies are forced to change their business practices. That means indirectly we are putting pressure on the companies to change their marketing strategies, business strategies, corporate strategies. And in a way, we are creating social impact, positive social impact, protecting the Mother Earth, the nature, because everybody is talking about global warming, ozone depletion. These are all the result of excess buying, excess consumption, excess unmindful ways of disposing the products. So in that sense, we have to support not only the present generation, but the coming generations also to be taken care of. So this kind of consciousness must be created among the youngsters as well as the policymakers. And environmental sustainability should be the top priority from the company's side. And they must source the goods ethically. I mean, some of the companies, even multinational companies, earlier there are some case studies like one shoe manufacturing company is using child labor in some underdeveloped countries and selling at high premium prices in the other countries. So that was unethical. So such kind of ethically sourced goods must be forced. But the crux of the topic is talking about consumer awareness in the digital era. So customers must be protected from exploitation, as Professor Rao has elaborately given some suggestions and tips. and policy measures and the various court rulings he mentioned. So that has to be circulated down to the next level. So the customers must be given an opportunity to become more aware of what they're buying. The informed decision making has to be encouraged. And the market overall, it has to be made accountable. Market means what? Collection of buyers, sellers, policymakers, and all other suppliers, insurers, transporters, everybody collectively, the researchers, the society as a whole should be made accountable. And we should encourage healthy competition so that always competitive markets will strive for efficiency and excellence. So in the process, new systems will be produced and innovative product and services will be offered and cost could be optimized. So in that sense, competition must be encouraged. And you should also talk about reduction of the fraud. As it was, everybody knows that there are 8 consumer rights. It was already mentioned by Professor Rao. I think once again, I just read, because every customer is having the right for information, right to safety, right to choose, a right to redress, a right to consumer education, a right to privacy. And the Bindu Madam is talking about privacy of information, a right to fair treatment, a right to voice and representation. So these rights must be protected. At the same time, an awareness must be created. So the recent guidelines in 2023 by CCPA has mentioned about the dark patterns. There is a brief reference by Dr. Rao also about the dark patterns in e-commerce. So the policy body has rightly identified 13 dark patterns. Let us spend some time on these 13 dark patterns. For example, the first one is false urgency. Most of the e-commerce platforms are deceitfully displaying scarcity of the products to mislead the consumers. They're creating sense of urgency among the customers. If you don't buy today, the product will be over tomorrow. That's why they're creating that as false urgency, even though there is abundant supply. That is one kind of dark pattern. Second one is basket sneaking. What the basket sneaking means? Platforms including additional items without the information given to the customer at the checkpoint. Suppose if the customer loads 5-6 items, the 7th item will be loaded by the system. That is without informing. So that is how, especially for example, they talk about charity, giving, services, 2 rupees extra, something like that. Without your consent, they will mislead you. Forced action. Sometimes what is meant by forced action? Users being compelled to make an additional purchase, for instance, a premium subscription or sign up for an unrelated service. So you want 1 month service, but they are asking you to take 6 months service, something like that. The forced action they are initiating. And the next dark pattern identified by CCPA is confirmed shaming. Confirmed shaming means what? They're manipulating customers to act in a certain way by projecting shame, guilt, and sometimes they ridicule the customer also. For example, are you not taking care about your parents? Are you not taking care of the safety of your child? Such kind of tricky questions they will ask. They force the customer. They sometimes blame the customer, so that customer is forced to buy the items. And subscription trap. For example, what is subscription trap? Making the process of canceling the subscription very difficult. I think most of you are aware of, you can subscribe easily the Netflix, but if you want to unsubscribe the Netflix, it's a very difficult process. They don't allow you to unsubscribe that easily. That is subscription trap. Interface interference. That means the system, the algorithms, the software is prepared in such a way, they use the interface to manipulate, to highlight the specific information or to obscure other details. That means the risk factors they don't reveal, and some highlights they over highlight. So this is how the system will also interfere. The other one is bait and switch. Bait and switch means what? It's just like a deceptive advertisement of a product at a desirable price only to serve an alternative. They show one product as a bait, but they sell the other product. The next one is drip pricing. Drip pricing is hiding prices and revealing them stealthy much later during the purchase, especially while you are buying a flight ticket. They show some price, they will give you some discounts. Initially, they will tell when you are buying the ticket, after filling all the details, all of a sudden they will add some convenience fee, some additional fee. So the process is tedious, so you cannot leave the ticket at the process so that you will buy the forcibly. So that is called drip pricing. That means hiding the final price till the last minute. And the other one is a disguised advertisement. Sometimes you don't know that is a disguised advertisement, like a surrogate advertisement. The practice of posing, masking advertisements as other types of content, such as user-generated content. And nagging. Nagging is like is another dark pattern practice to annoy users with frequent requests, information, or interruptions unrelated to the intended purchase. Continuously they ask. Finally, you may be tempted to buy. And the other dark pattern the CCPA has highlighted is trick question. Deliberate use of manipulative language to mislead the user. It's like a trick question. Are you interested to go for a summer vacation with your family? If not, you're losing your life, something like that they will use. So you are forcibly to book a their service. And SaaS billing. SaaS billing is a collecting payments from consumers on a recurring basis by exploiting loopholes. For instance, not notifying them their free trial is covered to be paid subscription. The free trial will all of a sudden will become a paid subscription. So like this, the 13 dark patterns were highlighted, especially for the e-commerce platforms. So these 13 dark patterns must be understood by the customer, especially as a policymakers, they should give more weight, more awareness about these dark patterns, so that the digital buyers will be more conscious about what they're buying. And that's why some companies they're putting green labeling, eco labeling on their product. Sometimes we are also to be cautious whether these are proper or not. Simply painting them in a green color doesn't mean they are following green practices. Especially for the electronic goods, sometimes we are talking about 4-star, 3-star, 5-star ratings. How genuinely they are following the process, there must be some regulation. So if you talk about these global emissions, the biggest single source of emission is purchased goods and services. The more and more goods we are buying, the more and more emissions we are releasing. About 20 years back, if you go to a retail shop, very limited items are available. But if you go to a mall today, there are thousands and thousands of options are available. We used to have shampoo, deodorant. We used to have a hair oil as well as conditioner, like this. More and more products are from. Earlier we used to have soap only. Now we have perfumes, deodorants, moisturizers, men toiletry items, makeup items, lot of stuff, perfumes, kind of perfumes. So these are all creating a lot of pollution outside. Another important aspect we have to be careful is most of the companies they're greenwashing. What is meant by greenwashing? Greenwashing is a practice by the companies. They are projecting themselves. They're following the green practices, but they are not practicing. It's a tactic used by the companies to make the products or services appear more green and environmentally friendly than they actually are. So this is called greenwashing. You have to create some awareness about these practices. So how do you know? How do you spot the greenwashing? Whether the advertisement is having a vague language or sometimes misleading numbers and percentages they give. Sometimes they claim 140% benefit you will be giving. And sometimes they talk about rebranding, including natural packaging. What is meant by natural packaging? The definition should be understood. Making the product packaging green. Putting simply green color is not green packing. So like this, we should understand whether they are really following or are simply greenwashing. There are various types of greenwashing methods are available. You see, for example, green hushing. Companies underreport or hide substantial credentials to avoid scrutiny. Green rinsing. Green rinsing is when a company regularly changes its ESG targets before achieving them. That means they will change too frequently their targets so that you may not follow continuously what is the real standard now. Green labeling. The labeling of an essentially unsuitable product as a green or sustainable. Green lighting. Highlighting about a particularly green feature of a business production or activities to draw attention away from its environmentally harmful actions. That means they may be good in one aspect, but they may be bad in other aspects. So they simply highlight the green lighting concept. Green shifting. When companies reduce climate crisis to a consumer behavior and shift responsibility towards the consumer, and they disown their responsibility. That means they are asking consumer to be more conscious, more responsible, but they are not responsible. So like this green crowding, several companies in the name of some associations group together and we call it as green crowding, and they're hiding within a group and they're telling the industry, they're telling the government, they're telling the policymakers that we are following, but actually individual companies are shying away from individual responsibility. Lastly, I would like to mention about carbon footprint. What is carbon footprint? It's the amount of greenhouse gas you produce in units of carbon dioxide. Why I am mentioning this particular aspect? As customers are becoming conscious buying, companies should also aware about carbon footprint implications. For example, if you see how many liters of water you are using, how much emission you are creating, how many liters of fuel you are consuming, how many units of electricity you are spending per month or per year. What is your transport means, whether you are using public transport or you are using your own personal vehicle or your LPG consumption, whether you are recycling any product or not, how much offsets you are making, what kind of waste you are generating. If you could measure, if you put them quantified, then you will understand what amount of carbon footprint you are leaving on this earth. For example, today, if you are buying a flight ticket, some of the flight companies ticket, they are mentioning about how much carbon emission this travel costs. Then they are claiming that if you travel in our flight, the carbon emission will be less. So in that sense, some measures are there. Let me explain how to calculate an individual's carbon footprint. So there is a gentleman who is an environmentalist. He is an author of the environmental equation book. He has proposed certain models for this calculation. You multiply your monthly electricity bill by 105, multiply your monthly gas bill by 105, multiply your monthly oil bill by 113, multiply your total yearly mileage on your car by 0.79, multiply the number of flights you have taken in the past year. less than 4 years by 1,100. Multiply the number of flights you have taken in the past year, 4 hours or more, by 4,400. Add 184 if you do not recycle a newspaper. Add 166 if you do not recycle aluminum and tin foils that you have used. Add 166 if you do not recycle, that's what I mentioned, recycle aluminum or tin. And add 1 to 8 points together, then you will get your carbon footprint. What is the ideal carbon footprint a man can produce? For example, an ideal is, according to them, keep in mind an ideal carbon footprint is anywhere between 6,000 to 16,000 pounds, not kgs. 16,000 to 22,000 is considered as average. Under 6,000 is considered as very low. Over 22,000, you must be very change your practices. You may want to adapt some of the living green practices into consideration. So what I mean to say with this, I would like to create some awareness among the participants and the students that you should be aware of what you're buying. You could be affordable it, but the society may not affordable it. If the customer is conscious, companies will also practice. If the companies and customers together practice, automatically the mother nature will get benefited. So with this, I think you can also understand the world's Consumer Rights Day. The theme for this year is a just transition to sustainable lifestyles. So this just transition to sustainable lifestyles will definitely make the policy making more saner. At the same time, companies will change their business practices from mere money making to that of sharing the wealth, preserving the long-term benefits. That has to be understood. So in this context, I should appreciate the theme selection by the policymakers of World Consumer Day. It's a very justifiable theme, and we should also change our lifestyle. What is your lifestyle? Lifestyle is not buying things, costly things. Lifestyle is what, with the freedom you have given, with the money you have, with the time you have, with the resources you have, what you are doing with that freedom. That shows your lifestyle. So this is how I would like to present my talk. And we should also always remember, we are not, we have not taken this present nature from our ancestors. Actually, we are grabbing them from our next generations. So we should be more responsible in handling the nature, to be conscious about what you are buying. At the same time, put pressure on the companies and the policymakers about the saner and healthier and sustainable policy making. Thank you very much, the organizers, for giving me this opportunity to share my little thoughts with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jampla sir, for beautifully interlinking the environmental concerns and the consumer awareness in the form of sustainable consumptions. The slides were very beautiful and they have thrown light on some important aspects in the e-commerce area. How do you go for this sustainable consumptions and all? Thank you so much, sir. We will definitely have questions in the last stage of this webinar. I am sure participants must have curiosity about many of the topics that you have covered. Now we are shortly moving towards the third technical session of the webinar, which is chaired by Dr. Zahirul Islam, sir. I request my faculty colleague, Mr. Akshay Mahamuni, sir, to please introduce Dr. Zahirul Islam, sir, to the audience. Over to you, Akshay, sir. Akshay, sir, you are not audible. Please unmute yourself. Akshay, sir, can you hear me? Please unmute yourself. I believe there is some technical glitch at his end. Let me introduce to the audience Professor Dr. Zahrul Islam, sir. Sir, I welcome you on behalf of MSP Mandal's SSRE Law College and Consumer Advocacy Group. It is my great pleasure to introduce you. Sir is an accomplished academician and legal scholar with over 13 years of rich experience in teaching, research, and academic administration. Dr. Zahrul Islam, sir, is currently serving as an associate professor, Faculty of Law, Central University of Kashmir. He has joined Kashmir University from 2023. He previously worked at Jamia Hamdard University, New Delhi as assistant professor. He holds a PhD in law from Gujarat National Law University and has completed his postdoctoral research in new technologies and law from Mediterranean International Center for Human Rights Research in Italy. His academic journey includes a BSL LLB and LLM degree with first class from Pune University. He successfully cleared UGC NET in law in December 2012. His areas of specializations are labor law and business law, and his doctoral work focuses on consumer protection in the e-commerce sector. Dr. Islam has previously contributed to several esteemed institutions, including Nirma University, Karnavati University, Adani Institutes of Infrastructure, and Dibrugarh University, among others. Over the years, he has published extensively, authoring more than 15 research papers on critical legal issues such as consumer data privacy, e-commerce regulation, and digital rights. He has presented papers at various national and international conferences, and his lectures are, as a resource person, have been insightfully and widely appreciated. Additionally, he has played a key role in academic administration, curriculum development, and student engagement activities across the institutions he has served. We welcome you on the dais, sir. The session is all yours.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, sir, you are.
First of all, at the outset, I would like to thank SSRA Law College and founder of Consumer Advocacy Group, Professor PBBS Murthy sir, and Principal Shaista Inamdar, and all the college administration for inviting me for this session. Actually, topic which on which I wanted to discuss or deliver already covered by the previous speakers. However, I'll be trying to speak on certain other issues on those topics. Basically, I hope I'm audible.
Sir, are you sharing the screen?
No, I'm not sharing the screen right now.
Okay, so the earlier one is still, the screen is visible. So I request stop sharing of the screen.
Yes, sir. No, actually, so the topic on which I would like to speak on is the emerging issue. Recently, in the month of June of this year, on 7th June 2025, the Central Consumer Protection Authority has issued an advisory to all e-commerce platforms to take necessary steps to ensure that their platform do not engage in any practice of dark patterns. Now, dark patterns in e-commerce platform is very emerging issues. Generally, we have this Consumer Protection Act 2019. When this act was enacted, we had the provision like deficiency in service, defect in goods, unfair trade practices. But if you look at the unfair trade practices, these are generally the broad terms. And these are basically we had the Consumer Protection Act 1986. There also the definition was there, unfair trade. We have incorporated some of the new terms in the unfair trade practices, but these are very broad practices which are designated as unfair trade practices. But in e-commerce specifically, what happened due to the technological development? The idea came to the e-commerce companies to do some deceptive and manipulative practices. And these were the practices the e-commerce platforms were practicing across. Be it good e-commerce platform, which we famously known as Amazon, Flipkart, Cleartrip, all of them, they were doing this. And this term dark pattern, basically this is the deceptive or manipulative practices in e-commerce platform. Actually, this term coined by Harry Brignall in 2010. So we could have bring it, in the Consumer Protection Act itself, the term dark pattern, but we were late. So what happened before that? This is the news of 7th June of 2025. But before that, what happened? The Department of Consumer Affairs, along with the Advertising Standard Council of India, conducted an interactive consultation with the stakeholders on dark pattern on 13th June 2023. A task force was constituted on 28 June 2023 to submit a recommendation on identification and regulation of dark patterns. And eventually, based on those recommendations, we have now Central Consumer Protection Authority. The Central Consumer Protection Authority issued a guideline on prevention and regulation of dark pattern 2023, because Central Consumer Protection Authority has been given the duty to protect consumers, specifically in e-commerce. So they came up with this guideline, and this guideline has defined what is dark pattern. And one important thing which is there in this guideline is that it mentioned the word user, not the consumer, because the definition of consumer is very problematic in a way in e-commerce. I have written many papers on this, because there it is said that you have to buyer or the service receiver, you have to pay the consideration, or you promise to pay consideration, then only you become a consumer. But in e-commerce, before paying anything, before buying anything, you are already, there are a lot of things you are already you have compromised. For example, your data, information, your preferences, your choices, all those things are being compromised. So very importantly, this guideline use the term user rather than consumer. And this guideline prohibited dark pattern, and it has defined dark pattern. And it said that any practices or deceptive design pattern using user interface or user experience interaction on the platform that is designed to mislead or trick users to do something they originally did not intend to or want to do, by impairing the consumer's autonomy, decision making, or choice, which amounting to misleading advertisement or unfair trade practices or violation of consumer rights. So these are the basically tricks, or some of the ways, design, or mechanism through which they try to capture the consumer's choice, preferences, mislead consumers. So now that this trend has been developed, traditionally the consumers were protected from the unfair trade practice. These are largely selling second-hand goods or counterfeited goods, selling the other the defective goods or deficiency in services. But now, due to the development of this e-commerce, this new thinking process are being developed among the business players to do this mischievous things, deceptive practice, so that to capture the consumer choice, consumer's decision through many ways. So what are those actually? In this guideline, there are 13 dark patterns which are being identified. So already Professor Rajesh sir has already explained those 13 dark patterns. So I would like to add few more points here. So regulation 4, which prohibited dark pattern, it said that no person, including any platform, shall engage in any dark pattern practices. So it includes all the sellers in e-commerce, all the platforms, marketplace e-commerce, or third-party sellers. All, no one can, do any such type of practices. And on 7th June of 2025, the ministry has issued the guideline that that they have to do now audit all the e-commerce platforms, and they have to give a declaration on their platform that they are not engaged or involved in any sort of dark pattern practices, which is good step by the ministry. But being a consumer, what we need to do, that I'll also give some inputs into this. We all can do so, and we all, most of us, experience this dark pattern in e-commerce. And I myself experienced those dark patterns. So when this guideline came in 2023, I realized that most of the things which I have encountered while buying something or even visiting some websites. So it said that in the regulation 5 that any platform shall be considered to be engaging in dark pattern practice if they engage in any practice specified in Annexure 1. Actually, Annexure 1 of this guideline identified 13 different types of dark pattern. First, as sir has also mentioned about the false urgency. Most of us, as I have experienced that, when we want to buy flight ticket, we have seen that only 2 seats are left. Even though this guideline came in 2023, by the way, the few months before also I saw in the Clear Trip, Make My Trip, they have this the list of airlines or the flight tickets, and they mentioned that 2 seats are left. This is called false urgency. Thereby, they're indirectly forcing you to make a decision quickly, so that you're not comparing the price with any other website. When they say that 2 seats are left and 30 people are also watching this or looking for this, they use this trick. Then you don't see or you don't compare the price. You have autonomy, consumers have autonomy, so thereby they are trying to control that autonomy, and thereby they try to force the consumer to make quick decision. Then the another is basket sneaking. So sir has already explained all those things. So basket sneaking, they do this sort of practices. When you buy something, at the end, when you go for the payment, you see some additional things or additional price also involved in that. And they said that it is for certain products or services or payment for charity or donation. And you don't have any other option, you cannot. I mean, I tried to not to add those things, but it is by default that thing has been added. So that is called basket sneaking, though the amount is very minimum. Sometimes it's 2 rupees or 3 rupees, sometimes 10 rupees. But think about if they have taken the 10 rupees from 1,000 or million people, then it is, and they do such type of practices and they earn huge revenue. Then again, the confirm shaming, this another, sometimes they ask you to subscribe to certain things, and if you don't do this, they say, like, for example, in a flight ticket, previously they used to have pre-ticked boxes, but Consumer Protection Act categorically mentioned that this is an unfair trade practice if you use pre-ticked boxes in your platforms. So now they don't use, but what they're trying to do now, they're writing something like that, would you like to secure your trip? Or the option you have, I'll stay unsecured. It's not shaming. I mean, the consumers, it is like, okay, I don't want, and I'll remain unsecured. So it's just kind of shaming that I am subscribing to this shaming if I don't want to this insurance policy. So this is another trick whereby consumer, looking into this, then they always try to, okay, I want to be secure. So okay, let's stick on this. Sometimes they write like, charity for the rich, I don't care. Even the millions of the children are dying, so I don't care, I don't want to pay. So they'll be writing like this. So looking into this, you feel like, okay, it's just a matter of 5 rupees. So just to add, why not to add 5 rupees, million children are dying. So they'll be writing like this. It's called, confirm shaming. But in between, I would like to add what to do when we see some of the words. It is our all collective responsibility, by the way. All of us have to do something. What to do now? Because Consumer Protection Act, this is the problem with the consumer protection, as I said, because you have to be consumer before going to the consumer forum. So what to do in that kind of cases? Now, Central Consumer Protection Authority is the authority, that is a regulatory body, which will be looking into this. Now, we have an app, Jago Grahak Jago app. There we can lodge the complaint against some of the website if they are doing this sort of practices. One can take screenshot and can share in that. And Central Consumer Protection Authority will look into this, and they will be doing the investigation, and they will be taking the cognizance of the matter. So that is the responsibility you all have. If you see some platforms are doing this sort of practices, it is our collective responsibility to take up the issue to the Central Consumer Protection Authority, and they will not ask whether we are consumer or not in that case. So then comes the fourth, as sir has already explained, the forced action. Now, sometimes they force you, in fact, that if you buy this particular product, initially they will not mention, but eventually they will mention to complete this purchase, you have to add something extra. You have to subscribe to their newsletter, for example. You have to subscribe their future other thing, or you have to download the another app, or you have to give the credit card details. Sometimes they will be saying this is a free services, but they'll be asking your credit card detail. But they're saying that these are the free services. Many of you must have encountered this sort of issues. So this is called forced action. Sometimes it is this another category, subscription trap. Many a times they make the cancellation of paid
Zairul sir, you are muted. Please unmute yourself. I guess there was a technical glitch, maybe. Yes.
Yeah. Now, am I audible?
Yes, you are, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So subscription trap, as I said, it's hiding the cancellation option. Sometimes they will write, there is one particular offer. They'll put X, which means that you can cancel it. But if you click on X, you will be redirected to another website. Or sometimes they make this cancellation of subscription ambiguous, confusing. So thereby, in a way, it seems like they're following all the rules and regulation, but they do manipulation. In terms of the font they use, in terms of the color they use in the terms, in terms of they no, hide not. And by the way, we don't have standard also. We don't have any standard law where it is prescribed that font should be like this, and all the disclaimers should be in that font or in that particular place. But we have laws, therefore it is disclosure requirement. But how to make disclosure? So there we don't have any detailed guideline with respect to that. Therefore, this issues arise. Though we have mentioned these things about this guideline on dark pattern, but this guideline it also doesn't give the clarity that what to do. They still doing these misleading things or deceptive practices. So that led to the subject to the interpretation. So interface interference, sir has already talked about this, that the practices of sometimes they design the light colored option selecting no. Many websites, even I found that it is very difficult to get the option called no, or I don't want to subscribe. And if you look constantly, then somewhere you will find. And in e-commerce, basically, it is a habit of the consumer. When you go to the speeder way, then you have this habit of buying the things in quickly. So even I myself have done research on this. When I found myself, I'm very quick while I'm buying the things. I don't look at here and there. Just very impatiently, I just try to order the things. And think about the young generation who are very much into this e-commerce, how they are behaving in e-commerce. So their interface interference are there. So that is another dark pattern they use. This is called bait and switch. I'm sorry. So they sometimes show some of the cheapest product you can buy. The moment you visit that website, you see no, this product is no longer available. There are substitute product is available, which is much higher price. So that's how they trap you to visit their website, looking into the cheap product. But eventually you don't find cheap product, you find the higher price. So sometimes you end up buying the higher price product then. That's how they will drag you to their website. So this is called bait and switch. So though they can say that we don't force the consumer, but this is how they are. Now who will be verifying the fact that they don't have the product? Sometimes they said this is out of stock, but initially they don't mention this is out of stock, but subsequently they will mention this is out of stock. These are the basically the dark pattern which are more prevailing. Drip pricing is another thing. They don't mention the price initially, but subsequently they add price. Now discussed advertisement, this is there in a soft PDI is one of the example. A popular software downloaded website often uses discussed ad on their software downloaded pages to boost ad revenue. They will put like you can download their thing, but when you click on the download, you will be redirected to another page. And they have this download option, but this is very tiny one, very small one. But you will see the big font download written there. But that is meant for some other website. You will be redirected to another website. So these sort of tricky things they use. Nagging is another thing. It is very famous, a trick which used by e-commerce platform. The very websites asking to download their apps again and again. They request you to turn on or accept their notification or cookies, and giving no option to say no. Sometimes they ask tricky question. This is another one, dark pattern. So they don't give the option to say no. They say, yes, I would like to receive the updates or not now. So you have option between the two. I don't want to get the update. If you want to opt out, I would like to receive the updates. You have only one option. Another option is not now, instead of saying no. So they will not give you the option to say no. SaaS billing, as sir has mentioned about, Many times they give free trial, but they automatically convert it to paid. They give free trial, free services. For example, freely you can play chess on their website, but they, they can automatically they convert it to payment, and they also seek credit card details for recurring payment. Rock malware, many a times they say that your device is affected by the malware, and so you should purchase our tools to protect your device from the malware. But in fact, they send malware through that. So these are the 13 the dark patterns which are being recognized by the Central Consumer Protection Authority. Now, the good thing, as I said, it has already mentioned that user are the victim. So if anyone, any user means whosoever visited that platform. So if I'm visiting that platform, I see that these dark practices are going on, I'm the user. So I can bring that complaint to the Central Consumer Protection Authority. So it is much easier through the Jago Grahak Jago app. I can lodge a complaint against particular site, and that's how one can protect the millions of consumers who are being victim of these practices. So I'll not take much time. I stop here. I'd like to thank once again to all the panelists and
Thank you, sir.
SSR Law College. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Gauri?
Yes.
As we are sorting, we are running short of time. So kindly wind up the validatory session because at 1:30 the link will close.
Okay. I'll take it over. Thank you so much, Dr. Zaiful Islam, sir, for throwing light on frauds committed by e-commerce platforms. We really day-to-day witness these practices that you have beautifully elaborated in your session, and I'm sure definitely the participants would have benefited. I could see there are many questions for the panelists, but due to short of time, we would not take those questions here in the session. If the panelists wish, so they can answer the questions. And I'll be sharing a feedback form link for the participants. The feedback form has to be submitted by all the participants for obtaining their certificates. And with this, we are closing with these technical sessions, and I hand over the session to my senior colleague, Professor Dr. Anisur Rahman, sir, for conducting the valedictory session. So over to you.
Madam, it is audible, madam?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are audible.
Good afternoon to all esteemed attendees and honored guests. It is my pleasure to be host of this closing ceremony. We are very honored to have Dr. PVV Murthy Garu, former Consumer Advocacy Group member, AP State Consumer Protection Council, with us today to deliver the presidential address of the validatory session. Sir, it is very happy to announce nearly 460 member participants are registered today's webinar. And a brief introduction, I will be about the Murthy Garu. Sir has a active consumer right activist and founder of Consumer Advocacy Group. And presently, Sir teaches international business studies at Acharya Nagarjuna University. And the main purpose of this group is to create a large-scale movement to promote the Consumer Protection Council. Now I request Dr. PVVS Murthy Garu to deliver the presidential address.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon to the organizing team, learned speakers and participants. I am delighted to participate in this national webinar to share my thoughts. I don't take much of your time. It will be completed within 1.5 minutes. The consumer community is more vulnerable. You heard all the speakers saying that to all kinds of fraud that are taking place globally. We cannot expect the governments to protect each and every consumer individually. At the most, they can redress the grievances of consumers to some extent. Consumers must acquire education to protect their own interests. When I say education, it doesn't mean the education that is being imparted in schools and colleges. Consumer education is something different and focuses on imparting the knowledge to safeguard oneself from the market frauds. To create awareness among the youth, our consumer advocacy group is conducting every month at least one webinar with the support of a college across India. After looking at the tsunami of frauds taking place in many consumer transactions, I feel like transforming myself into becoming a lexicographer and write a dictionary of frauds. Before concluding my presidential remarks, I thank the principal and management of SSRA Law College, BEAD, for organizing such a purposeful webinar. Particularly, I thank Dr. Shahista Inamdar for her efforts in organizing
Sir.
this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gauri?
Yes, ma'am. Rahman sir, over to you.
Good afternoon to all. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our esteemed guests and prominent speakers for giving their insightful presentations and valuable information and discussions on consumer advocacy. And I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the management, particularly Honorable Rajendra Sahib Rao Jagtap Sahib, Head CDC SSRO Law College, for his support, and organizing committee of the SSRO Law College for their dedication and hard work in making this webinar a resound success. It is my sincere gratitude on behalf of the SSRO Law College BEAD to everyone who has been a part of this journey and have made this event a resounding success. Last but not least, I express my special gratitude to our dynamic principal, Dr. Shaista Ma'am, for her initiative to organize the remarkable national webinar. Thank you all once again. Now I request the participant to open the webcam to take the selfies.
I request everyone to please open their video camera so that we can have a group photograph in virtual mode.
All the three questions which we have received, we will be sending to the panel members, and the reply would be shared to those persons. Kindly fill the feedback form so that you can receive your certificate for today's webinar. And thank you all for this wonderful support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
And I request panel members that if it is possible for you to share us the PPT, the PowerPoint presentation, so that also we can share with the people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. With this, I declare the session to be concluded. Thank you so much. Have a good day to all.